Do you love comfort food? Well, you are in the right place, ladies and gentlemen, because there is nothing in my mind that's more comforting than a beautiful lasagna. And I'm going to show you how to make a vegetarian version of that using 3 of my favorite vegetables. The Kent pumpkin, I love it for its sweetness and its texture. We're going to use eggplant, we're going to use kale, and it is delicious and really easy to make. You could make it over the weekend and then you've got it in the fridge, so when that weeknight meal comes along that you need a quick, simple dinner, you just take it out of the fridge, pop it through the oven. All right, let's make it together. So first of all, we're going to do the white sauce, the bechamel sauce. So you need some milk. Now, this is a little trick. What we're going to do is we're going to infuse some flavor while warming the milk. That will mean that we can make the bechamel much faster. Take a big old handful of thyme, we're going to infuse that, and then maybe 5 or 6 cloves of garlic. Just give it a little crush, like so, using the side of your knife, and we toss those in as well. We're going to let this milk come up to the simmer, and then we're going to strain it. So you get all of the flavor from the garlic and the thyme, then the milk's hot, and then the bechamel will come together really quickly. It's a cool little trick. While that comes up, we're going to take some eggplant, and we're going to slice it pretty thin, maybe a centimeter. And what we're going to do is we're going to oven roast this eggplant, and this is going to become a layer in our lasagna as well. Brush the bottom of my pan, then you take your discs or slices of eggplant and spread them out. What we're going to do is season with a little salt, and then go ahead and brush some more oil straight over the eggplant. They'll shrink up a little as they cook. We stick it into the oven, 180 degrees for about 20 minutes. Next, we're going to slice our pumpkin. This is that beautiful Kent pumpkin. All I've done is peeled it, removed the seeds, and all I'm going to do now is just slice it about the same thickness that you slice the eggplant. What we're doing here to the milk, I'm going to add a little salt, is we're infusing the flavors of the garlic and the thyme and of course the salt. All we're doing is bringing that up to the boil or to a simmer. And right here I have my strainer and my jug. So as soon as it starts to do that, which is just gently bubble, you can see it just starting to simmer, we can pick it up and we can strain it. So once you've strained the garlic and the thyme out, you can grab yourself another pan or you can just wipe out the one you used. And now we make what's called a roux. I'm getting a bit technical. It's just butter and flour. It's the thickening agent that actually thickens the white sauce. So equal quantities or thereabouts of butter and flour. Grab yourself a whisk, mix those together. I'm just gonna take that strained garlic and thyme out. Right, so you're combining 2 things pretty much at the same temperature, and it combines much faster and much easier. All right, so we wait for this bechamel to come up to a simmer. As soon as it starts to bubble, it'll be ready. We'll stir it, we'll make sure we've got the right consistency, and then we'll take it off the heat. While we wait for that to happen, I'm gonna grab a little bit of olive oil and just pour that straight into my pan. Grab my kale. I know this looks like a mountain of kale, but trust me, when it wilts, it does cook down quite a bit, so you'll be quite surprised. This will turn into something probably less than half of its size. Once you've sort of got half your kale in, what I like to do is season it, because if you just season it once it all goes in, you end up with sort of clumps of salty bits. Fill that whole pan up, and then I season it again. And the lid goes on. Tiny bit more salt, and we're done. All right, let's have a look at that kale. See how when I stir the kale, it almost looks like it's just getting smaller. And that's what I'm talking about. When it wilts, it really will come down. We've done all the prep. We've made our sauce, we've cooked our kale, we've got our beautiful Kent pumpkin that we've thinly sliced, and the eggplant's out of the oven. It is time to assemble. Now, there's no rules. You can do this exactly how you want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and reach in to that beautiful bechamel with my ladle, and you're going to sort of pick up a good ladle full, and you're going to cover the bottom of your lasagna pan. Just sort of spread that out so it gets to all corners of your pan. What I'm going to do is take these sheets and just sort of put 1, 2. I would like to do a third, but I don't want to overlap them, so I'm just going to snap it. They won't snap perfectly even, and that's fine. Take your pumpkin. Of course, they're not perfect shapes either, but that's all right. You're just going to sort of layer them up. Great. Season it with just a little salt and a little black pepper. Get a little handful of that kale, sprinkle it over the top. Cover that. Now, of course, the bechamel is going to help cook that beautiful pasta, but also the pumpkin as well. Big old handful of cheese. Sprinkle that around. Of course, that's going to melt and be fabulous as well. And then we go right back to the start. Reach for some more pasta sheets. Get yourself some more of that beautiful Kent pumpkin. Reach for some more of that kale. Freshly ground black pepper. Tiny bit more salt and more sauce. And you guessed it, do the same thing again. Another handful of that beautiful cheese. Now, normally we'd put another layer of pasta, but we're gonna change it up. I'm gonna take that beautiful eggplant that we roasted and use that as a layer instead. Back to the pumpkin, some more kale. I'm gonna put one more layer of cheese, a little bit more sauce, and the last layer, of course, has to be lasagna, bechamel sauce, and then you sort of just spread that around. When these vegetables cook, they're gonna release some of their juices. So this is gonna get a lot saucier once it's in the oven. So what we're gonna do is cover it with foil, throw it into the oven, and then it's gonna sink down a little. A lot of those juices will come out of the eggplant and the pumpkin. It's gonna give a beautiful, beautiful flavor to it. And just before we're done, we'll remove that foil, we'll cover it in cheese again, and then we'll gratinate it and get that beautiful golden brown finish. Sing to me. Beautiful. Okay, now I know you've done this before where you've tried to cut it and it turns into a big old mess. The secret, being able to cut that lasagna nicely and get it onto a plate that looks elegant, is be patient. You've got to wait 10 to 15 minutes. It's still going to be piping hot, but it's just going to set up nicely. So don't try and cut it too soon. As hard as it is, the smell of this. I mean, we call it comfort food because of how it makes us feel, right? It makes us feel super happy. Bon appetit. Now, the adults and kids alike are gonna absolutely love this. Best thing, it's full of veggies. If you want more recipes, go to coles.com.au and don't forget to subscribe.